Welcome to Oddball. I'm Charlotte Wilder. That's Amin Elhassan. We are here after the Olympics. They're over. I'm not sure I'm going to know what to do with myself, Amin. Like after the first week, I was like, what do I ever do besides watch the Olympics? Did you have a similar feeling?
What was life like before the Olympics, right?
Yeah.
Every day during the day. And by the way, you know what? The Olympics next time is going to be here in the United States in Los Angeles, which means like all the games and stuff are going to be at night, or most of them are going to be at night. And I'm not cool with that. I kind of feel like keep it in the Central European time zone so we all can just wake up in the middle of our day while we're going about work or whatever. You got the Olympics on. It was awesome.
I could not agree more with that take. By 5 p.m., it was like, okay, I know that they're going to be over, but yeah. Also for us in the summer when things might be a little slower, just like I was hanging around and the Olympics were on. And one of the greatest moment, arguably, of this Olympics, if not maybe the Olympics ever, the gold medal match between Team USA and France.
Which one?
Well, both of them were pretty good. We're going to start with the men. The U.S. won 98-87. Everybody knows by now that at the end, Steph Curry just went off. He was hitting these circus shots. I was nervous, though, because in the fourth quarter, it was between 5 and 7 at one point that the U.S. had the lead. And I was on the floor with my head in my hands being like, please don't screw this. Like, we can't lose. We cannot lose. Like, please don't screw this up. Were you nervous?
Never in doubt. Never in doubt. I knew I had confidence. You know why? Because France didn't have that guy. Wembanyama may one day become that guy. And he did hit a big three-pointer down the stretch to try to answer one of Steph's daggers. But ultimately, they didn't have a guy who was transformative enough with the ball in his hands. And again, that doesn't mean it's got to be a superstar. I mean, it could be like a Dennis Schroeder or a Patty Mills. Someone like that was like, yo, he's going off and we have nothing to do. I was actually way more worried during the Serbia game, obviously because of the huge deficit, but also because when you give them that kind of cushion, they could just ride Jokic, and if you try to focus too much on Jokic, someone like Bogdanovic could go crazy. But France, I was just kind of like, all right, guys, it's time to stop around.
I think the Serbia game too, that it was sort of like, come on, guys, like, don't you want this? There was a sleepiness to the U.S. even in the third quarter where I was like, no, let's not do that. There was not that in the gold medal game. Steph was that guy. France might not have had that guy. Steph was that guy. We had a lot of that guys, to be fair, but Steph hit 4 threes in just over 2 minutes. And in the final 2 games, he scored 60 points. All of the games before that was at 4. I don't know. He scored 29 points. It's just like, I know, I mean, we've seen this for so many years now. We know what Steph is capable of. And yet watching yesterday, there was a level unlocked in my brain where I was just like, the ability to perform in the moment when your team needs you and hit every shot you need to hit it's still, I don't know that people, obviously we think about it all the time. The reality of it still blows my mind.
Charlotte, the thing that it hit me, I'm watching them out there and he's making these shots and I'm thinking about all those players for France, particularly the ones who really don't have a whole lot of NBA experience. Like Victor Wembanyama, like Yabusele, like Nando De Colo from years ago or whatever. And I know for a lot of those guys, particularly the younger ones, they were as kids, they would wake up at 3 a.m. and watch NBA playoff games, right? And they probably seen Steph Curry do these things to Cleveland, to Boston, to all sorts of teams along his Hall of Fame career. And all I could think of was, as it's happening to France, the French players being like, oh my God, I've watched this movie and now I'm in the movie. I'm the guy who's getting attacked by Freddy Krueger or by Jason Voorhees. And that's just something that you can't shake, really.
No, you know what that makes me think of? I mean, in the Pirates of the Caribbean, where one of the skeleton pirates says to Keira Knightley's character, Sophie Turner, he's like, you better start believing in ghost stories, Miss Turner, because you're in one. Do you know that? That's like, oh, wow.
That's a great pull, but Charlotte being able.
That's a good Photoshop. You better start believing in Steph Curry, Paris. That's a wild Photoshop.
Is that Joe Mazzulla?
Yeah, what? Why is Joe Mazzulla in that picture?
Because he's been in that Ghost Story before, man. In 2022 as an assistant, also because he's the type of guy who would say something like that.
Yeah, that's nothing but respect for my coach. I mean,
yeah. The other side of this, I've always talked about players having to witness the Steph Curry show up close and personal and realize, oh crap, I'm in it. This is me. Right. But the other side of the coin was for fans who got to experience what Warriors fans and just general NBA fans like myself have experienced for a while. So my buddy Ian Carmel, the very funny comedian, tweeted out, and a big Blazers fan, he tweeted out, "This is what it feels like to root for Stephen Curry? I can fly." And it's real. It's like, if you're a Blazers fan, if you're a Clippers fan, a Laker fan, a Rockets fan for sure, a Cavs fan, a Celtics fan, right? You've seen this and you've been on the wrong end of it, and you're just about like, at best you're like, damn it, man, he did it again. And at worst you're like, oh my God, I hate him. He's not that good or whatever. And then it gets to happen for you as opposed to you. It is a freeing moment, isn't it?
It was a high because in 2022 when I was at the finals, the Celtics lose in Game 6, and I had, anybody who's watched Oddball knows that I had a pit in my stomach and lasting PTSD that we are still, we started to get over, still working on it. And watching Steph Curry win in that game and just take over that Game 6, there was a part of me that was like, I am witnessing history. Like, this is absolutely transcendent to watch, but it was at my team's expense. And so I completely agree with Ian. It's like, oh my God, Warriors fans have been blessed, like hashtag blessed. And the translation of the French broadcast, I think, sums up how the French probably felt. The guy said in French, "The devil named Curry is hurting us."
Yes. He also said, "C'est pas possible," which is, it's not possible. He basically, the play-by-play man turned into is it Jesse Pinkman from Breaking Bad? Like, I can't keep getting away with this. That's exactly what
getting away with this.
But the crazy thing is, while the call felt all the pain and anguish of people rooting for French people, the arena told a different story because it was a very partisan crowd. These French fans were really rooting for France. They're going to Le Le Bleu and all the little chants and songs and stuff. And then Curry started currying. And Charlotte, you did a movie reference. I'm going to do a movie reference. It reminded me of Rocky IV, where Rocky's fighting Ivan Drago in Russia. And by virtue of this gutsy performance, the Russian crowd with Mikhail Gorbachev or fake Gorbachev in the stands begins to switch. Instead of rooting for Drago, they start rooting for Rocky. And even Drago looks like, oh, I thought it was a home court advantage thing. It was nuts to see the French fans be like, oh, the hell with this, man. Like, yeah, we want our team to win, but come on, man. This is amazing.
Yeah, there's some kinds of greatness where no matter who you're rooting for, like, Nuit, Steph Curry, it was incredible. Let's look at a screen grab. The final three that Steph took to seal the game, where, if you'll notice, KD and LeBron are both wide open. And not only are they wide open, Steph had passed the ball to Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant just gave it back to him. And here he is with two French guys on him. And it was a shot, this high arc, it went in. It blows my mind. Despite Steph's heroics, though, LeBron was still named MVP of the Olympic tournament. He averaged 14.2 points, 6.8 rebounds, 8.5 assists, 1.3 steals in 6 tournament games. This man is almost 40. In the gold medal game, he had 14.6 rebounds, 10 assists, and 2 steals in 33 minutes.
Yeah, and I would also throw in there, he has the first triple-double in Olympic history. And also, when you talk about 10 assists in international basketball, it is incredibly hard to get an assist because they don't give like the motion or the leeway that NBA scorekeepers do when it comes to assists. They're very stingy with it. So to have 10 assists in a game is a pretty incredible feat for LeBron. Well deserved. We couldn't get enough, though, of Steph and LeBron together. No. This is one of my favorite moments from the night, is when they both did the night move. And there's something about it where I was just like, Charlotte, I've watched international Olympic basketball since 92 with NBA players. I've seen all types of combinations of great players like, Magic and Larry and MJ and Shaq and Grant Hill or whatever. I've seen some of these pairings or groupings go on to actually become real life teammates like LeBron, D Wade and Bosh in 08 or Kyrie and Kevin Durant in 2016. I can say unequivocally that I have never felt as strongly about these guys need to be on the same team ASAP as I do with LeBron and Steph Curry. It was the most perfect basketball ever, the most perfect synergy ever. And I think if you care about basketball, if you set aside your allegiances and your team fandom and all that, and just say, I care about basketball being played at the best level. This is what's best for basketball. You want these two guys together because I don't care if it's as the Lakers, as Warriors, for the Charlotte Hornets. I don't care. I need to see LeBron and Steph be teammates again outside of the Olympics. Yeah,
it was gorgeous. It was absolutely gorgeous. It was stuff that we've never seen before. And I think this sort of ties into them being called the Avengers because at first I was like, it's kind of corny. Like, I don't know. Are you avenging, the World Cup last year? Is this? And then I was like, oh, I guess it's the Avengers from Marvel. And then I was like, wait a second. They are the Avengers. This is the greatest crossover event of all time. I mean,
Joel Embiid as the Incredible Hulk.
Yeah.
You got Kevin Durant as Thor. LeBron as Captain America. Oh, Steph Curry as Iron Man. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, please tell me you made Tatum Hawkeye. That would be awesome.
Who is Hawkeye? I'm not familiar.
Hawkeye is the one that has no superpowers. All he does is throw arrows. That's incredible.
Come on.
I would make Tyrese Halliburton Ant-Man because of the comedic value there. And then finally, Scarlett Johansson as Scarlett Johansson. And I think we should put Scarlett Johansson on Team USA as well.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe she can hoop. Like, I have never seen evidence to say she can't.
You know what? I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt.
All right, great. We do have to mention, that Ant Edwards remembered that it took Curry a little while to heat up in those first couple games. He said this.
Hey, Ant said I just showed up 3 days ago.
Hey, my boy just got the Bears about 3 days ago, but we so glad he got it.
So what I love about this is that Ant clearly has developed such a good relationship with these older players that he can give them crap. He can be like, oh, nice of you to show up, because they know when he says it, he's saying it with the utmost respect. And also they know it's true. Steph was like, yeah, really didn't play that great. And here I am. And the fact that it's Steph taking the video after Ant clearly said that to him, he was like, wait, say it again. That's too funny. There's something, it's very heartwarming. It's very sweet of me.
Yeah, I mean, like, this is what I think is what makes Ant a great teammate. When you see what happened in Minnesota and why Karl Anthony Towns is so accepting, it's because you can see that this guy just has a charisma about him that, like, he can say things that if other people said those same things, might cause offense or hit a nerve, and he doesn't have that, and so that's a really cool thing. Also, it's a lot easier to make those jokes when you win the gold medal.
Yeah, for sure. He's not making those if they lost that game.
Yeah.
I also think there's an element of it really quick that he says the truth. So you never think, hey, is Ant saying something behind my back that he wouldn't say to my face? Like, no, he's very above board. You know exactly what's going on at all times with Anthony Edwards, and that's an underrated quality. All right, we have to talk about Jayson Tatum because he did not get a ton of minutes. His mom chimed in by responding to Dick Vitale, who asked if Tatum was injured. His mom says, no, he's not. But if you find out what's going on, please let me know. Unacceptable and makes no sense. And I mean, this is one of those things. It seems like sports moms, dads, relatives are very intense. This to me seems more of a thing that she just tweets out, and Tatum will then have to go to Steve Kerr and be like, hey, sorry about my mom. I couldn't get to her phone in time before she pressed send.
Yeah, it's tough because on the one hand, I understand as a mother, as a father, as a brother, a sister, a significant other, a best friend, a cousin. You care about this person. You care about their feelings. You care about how they're perceived and all that stuff. And so sometimes you feel like, well, somebody's got to say it. Right. And I say this to all family members. Thank you for being the support system for your player. Thank you for championing them. But the worst thing you can do is saying something like that publicly, because then you don't have to answer for it. He does. He's got to answer for it internally to his teammates, to his coaches. He's got to answer externally to the media. So it just like I get the sentiment, but also just keep it in the group chat, so to speak. For his part, Tatum, he seemed non-committal when asked about playing in 2028, saying, quote, "It was a tough personal experience on the court. It's 4 years from now, and I would have to take time and think about that." No, like, I'm not mad at that answer. I don't think it's non-committal. I just think it's like, leave the door open, right?
I think he's actually handled this fairly well. Like Tara Sullivan at the Globe, great reporter for them in Boston, had a long interview with Tatum where he was like, look, I didn't say anything to Steve Kerr. I was professional about it. He dealt with it as well as he could while also not lying, because he was like, I just came off of the highest high of winning a championship. Yeah, it's a little weird not to play. He was the only guy on that team, the only American on NBA first team All-Stars this year. So there, it's a little, you're sort of like, what's going on? But I do think that when he got in the game, when he played, he wasn't playing well. He was like 1 for 3 in the 11 minutes he played yesterday, whenever the gold medal match was. So Saturday. Yep. And Steve Kerr's like, I don't have time for you to heat up. I'm going to yank you if you're not doing it. And he just wasn't doing it. So I kind of see what was happening a little bit.
Yeah. Like there's real life circumstances why he didn't play as much as he wanted to, right? First of all, the 3 best players of a generation are there in front of him. Particularly, we talk about LeBron and Durant play his position. So you're already fighting that, right? And then as you pointed out, you get in the game and you're not able to be immediately impactful because you're not used to that, right? You're not used to being dropped in and have to be immediately great. He hasn't played probably a subservient role not since he was a rookie, really, right? When Kyrie Irving was there in Boston. So like he's not used to this as much. And so on the other hand, if I'm Jayson Tatum, I would say, look, I'm not a 3rd or 4th year player. I'm a champion. I've been all NBA first team, as you said. The only American who's all NBA first team this year. I've been a 1,000,000-time All-Star. And most importantly, I played for Team USA before and I played in the Olympics and played well and won a gold medal. So why am I still in this kind of probationary, I've got to be great immediately or else I get yanked period, while the other guys get to heat up? And the what I said basically is like, yeah, man, like, why am I not in the cool club? Well, just luck so have it. This time, the cool club is pretty cool, man. Like, you're not as cool as those guys.
No, and it's it's sort of the quintessential Tatum experience. Like, I still have to prove something, and for whatever reason, I guess so right now, even though he really doesn't. Steve Kerr also made a point to say that Devin Booker was incredible. Nobody asked. Kerr said he was our unsung MVP. I just wanted to say that. Why was Booker able to do this, Amin?
I think because Book has been the other guy before in his life, right? He was like a good high school recruit, but not like one of the top 5 players in the nation. He went to Kentucky where he came off the bench there. And then even early on in his Phoenix Suns career, he was kind of the other guy until they realized, oh, this kid is really good. And then his role grew and then he became a star. And then Chris Paul comes in. Chris Paul gets the ball in his hands and Booker's still the best player, but kind of Chris Paul is controlling things. So he's kind of got to find his role there. Then Kevin Durant comes in and so like Booker is no stranger to being asked to adjust his role, not unlike Tyrese Maxey, another Kentucky guy who, as things have changed around him in Philly, he's adjusted his role. Like, okay, what's next? And that's a little easier, I think, than having always been the guy for the majority of your career. And then all of a sudden being told, you got to come in here and have small windows to be successful.
And then there's Tyrese Halliburton, who said, when you ain't do nothing on a group project and still get an A. So coming up, nuit to the men's team, U.S. women win gold. Noah Lyles is still talking crap, and Wemby and Jokic take on the world.
It's nuit. The T is silent.
Nuit. Oh, whatever. I'm American.
Yes, you are.
Welcome back to Oddball. The U.S. women's team won gold as well, also against France. I don't know what's going on in France. And this game had an arguably crazier finish than the men's game. The U.S. was up by 3 when France's Gabby Williams hit a buzzer beater shot. Her toe was on the line. U.S. escaped with gold. Asia Wilson was absolutely unbelievable for the U.S. Also, Gabby Williams, UConn's own former WNBA player. Her mother is French, so she plays for France and she plays in the professional leagues overseas for anyone who's confused about what was going on there. Amin, were you nervous about this one?
Yes, absolutely. In a weird way. First of all, it was a close game. Team USA never really got in a flow. It was more like the Serbia game on the men's side where it's like, you just can't get it going. And then they finally got it to get it together at the end. But then Gabby Williams just goes nuts. And it's like every time I'm feeling like, okay, finally France is dead. Gabby Williams hits an incredible shot. And so, Charlotte, if I may, I want to describe that last play where she hit that buzzer beater. I was doing live radio for SiriusXM NBA radio. And so we're thinking, okay, this is game over. They've got no timeouts to go the length of the court. The rejoin music is playing. We're coming out of commercial break and we're playing Queen, We Are the Champions. And right as the music is playing, I'm watching. I see Gabby Williams catch the ball, fling it up in a prayer, and it banks in. And I said, I don't know if it made it on air or not. If my mic was on, I said, holy it was just the most visceral reaction. And obviously, once I saw the replay, I realized, no, her foot's on. Clearly, it was all over the line. But it was one of those things where I felt like that sharp pang. And one of the reasons why there was so many stakes on this game, it was kind of like, again, that Serbia game and also the gold medal game on the men's side, where part of it is like, yeah, I want USA to win. But part of it is, man, we can't lose because then I got to hear all this shit. On the men's side, it was about, whatever the dude's name is, the little running guy, or whatever.
Noah Lyles?
That's his name. Oh, I'm sorry.
You know what his name is. Come on.
But on the women's side, it's different. It's not the athlete, but it's like the people around the athlete, the people who root for the athlete. It's Caitlin Clark. I didn't want to hear like 4 years of Caitlin Clark should have been on the team narratives.
Well, unfortunately, I mean, on something that we said on Oddball, that we had a clip on my Instagram, that happened anyway. People were like, oh, if Caitlin had been there, they would have won by more. And this is not fair to Team USA. It's not fair to Caitlin Clark. Everybody get over yourselves. Stop using this one athlete as like the be all end all of all your opinions. This was the US's 8th gold. I mean, the US women, that part of me watching, I was like, the one game that the US loses since 1992 cannot be the gold medal game. And they didn't. To their credit, they didn't. But gave me a heart attack.
I want to say really quickly to clarify, first of all, shout out to Asia Wilson and to Plum and to Copper. They sealed the deal at the end of this game. But number 2, for anyone who said Caitlin Clark should have been there, and Diana Taurasi only had like 4 points or whatever it was the whole tournament. If Diana Taurasi, for whatever reason, said, guys, I can't make it, you guys realize Caitlin Clark wasn't the next person, right? The next person was Arike Ongabwale. Like, that's the next person.
Friend of Oddball. Shout out to Arike.
Yes, absolutely. Shout out to her. But like, that's the next. It's not even, your girl wasn't even number 1 in the outside looking in. And again, in 4 years, she might be captain of Team USA. That's great. But right now, there were better candidates.
It is what it is.
Yes.
Okay, I mean, this is for you. I'm going to let you talk about Noah Lyles real quick. The Team USA beef between the track star and the NBA players. A quote from Noah Lyles' interview from Time magazine published in June resurfaced. He said something like he was offended when Adidas invited him to an Anthony Edwards event. You want to invite me to an event for a man who has not even been to an NBA finals? And then he responded, said there's a rumor going around that I didn't want to go to Ant's shoe release, blah, 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 blah. The rumor is a literal quote from you, Noah Lyles. Amin, you have the floor for 45 seconds.
Why you always lying? Why you always lying? Oh my God, stop lying. Hey, it's my favorite part, by the way. Oh, I'm great. I win 100 meters. I'm the fastest man. Oh, I lost 200. I have COVID. Oh, the COVID's gone again. I'm partying in the club. Wow. What a great turnaround. This guy has no lasting effects other than just the race he lost. Amazing. Take your ass on. And while you're at it, tell Michael Jordan his depoy was fraudulent.
We have no time for one beer, Jokic. That's all for Oddball. Goodbye.